My first guest for the show is my friend Ganpat. He is something of a hero in the world of Lego ideas because he got to 10K with this amazing Asterix project we're looking at now. Ganpat, how did you get interested in Lego?
My parents bought me this cool fire station. It was somewhere in the 80s, I think. I might have been 3 years old or maybe 4. That got me into Lego. And then later on, I got a house and streets, and I might even had a ranch. There were 2 horses, and it was a very cool set. But then it all changed. I mean, Lego was cool. I got pirates, I got knights, and then 1993 came. I got other interests, and in particular the Jurassic Park movie, and Lego disappeared under my bed. It was also literally under my bed because I had a big base and all the houses were on that base, and I could move it from under my bed. But I didn't do that anymore because I was all into Jurassic Park. But then years later, Lego brought out the Lord of the Rings Lego.
Sure.
And a friend of mine bought me a cart with Gandalf.
Sure.
And I was back in the game. Like, wow, this is cool. I bought the back end and all kinds of other Lord of the Rings and Hobbit sets. And then the cool thing was that Jurassic World came out, and there came out also those interesting Jurassic World Lego sets. So
sure,
when I thought it is over with Lord of the Rings, no, it wasn't, because there was another theme that I really liked. So I stayed with the Lego.
That's awesome. So how do you think Lego sort of contributed into the person that you grew up to be?
Oh, that's a very good question. Well, creativity. I think that's the thing. And not only that, but telling those stories, playing for me is telling stories, making up new stories, adventures, especially adventures. It must be adventures, like an Indiana Jones story. Indiana Jones who's looking for a treasure, or saving your best friend from the evil knights, something like that. And it also helped to determine what is good and what is bad. You always have a bad guy and a good guy in those stories when it comes, for example, to the pirate Lego or the castle Lego, not necessarily with the city theme, but you can always make it a theme, because back then we didn't have thieves of Lego.
Sure.
Nowadays you have the police station and you have the villains. So there is a good and an evil aspect in all kinds of Lego sets.
Sure.
So yeah, that also contributes to who I am. I think so.
That's awesome. What other interests do you have besides Lego and Lego ideas?
Other interests, those are movies, and my wife is very interesting.
Sure.
And
as a man who's also married, like if you do get married, your wife does become the main focuses of your life. And
yes, and if you are blessed with a child, then there's also this little one
of course
walking around, and that's very cool. So sometimes you do not even have time to be busy with your hobbies. I also like to read. I'm a writer myself. I'm a book translator now. And if there is time, I'm participating in movie projects, but that's not very often. I did that more often in the past, but due to lack of time, that's not always possible anymore. I still love Jurassic Park, Jurassic World. I'm looking forward to the new movie that's coming out in June.
That's great.
So I'm busy with that as well.
That's really awesome. So with this wonderful Asterix project, which I guess connects really well with what you like about stories and Lego and even movies.
Definitely, yeah.
It's a great project, but how did you get it to 10,000 people?
Oh, that took me almost 16 or 17 months, something in that area. A lot of promoting, and also went to a Lego convention with the what you see here is made in studio, but we also have
Yeah,
created this part of the set, so only the front, the facade of the house. I made it into real Lego bricks and showed it to Lego fans from mostly from Belgium, because it was in Belgium.
that's awesome.
I got support from there. I was sharing flyers and asking to vote there
Sure,
on the spot, but I had to do a lot for it. Also, even went door by door with flyers and
sure.
asking people, would you like to vote for my project? And I got nice responses. I also got like no, and then the door slammed. So I had to do a lot to get there, and it took a lot of time and energy, but I believed in the project, and I think it was worth voting for. And because it's a classic theme in Europe, and not only in Europe, but also in Asia and in New Zealand and Canada, and of course in the United Kingdom, many people know Asterix.
Yeah,
It's as well known as Superman comics, and people in the United States don't realize that. But when something is well known in the United States, but it is not known, something is not known by them, doesn't mean that it's not worldwide recognized. Um, and I had to tell many people that, like, well, it's very popular here. It's everyone has stores in which you can buy the Asterix comic books. Uh, so it has been translated in more than 100 languages.
that's amazing. So just breaking away from Ganpat talking, for everyone in the audience, this is an awesome project. It's hit 10,000 supporters, so you can't support it anymore. But for audience members who want to get involved and want to make this more likely to become a set, is there anything that they can do, Ganpat?
Yes, for sure. You can always leave a comment and on the project page, write down that you like it and that you want to this to become a real Lego set. And that really helps for Lego Ideas to have an idea how many people would buy this in the review phase. And it gives Lego an impression of, wow, is this popular or not?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. Of course, to physically buy a project, that's much more than clicking a button. And if
Yeah,
someone makes a comment, then that shows that they're invested in this. They think this is important enough to have a conversation about. That's awesome.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Let's look at all of the Asterix photos. I really love your mini builds. That's a lovely family there.
This one.
Yes.
Yeah, this is actually only in the updates.
Yeah.
The main character, I will slide it a bit fast, and the main characters are right here.
Sure.
Because you can't have too many figures.
Sure.
But if Lego would think, well, maybe we choose a few, which ones could we leave behind, and which ones can we choose from? I also gave some alternatives that are fan favorites.
Very.
And these that I have right here are fan favorites, especially the three above.
Sure.
Fishmonger, the blacksmith, and the wife of the chief.
Ah, yes. That's really cool. Have you got the Julius Caesar's chariot? Because I really love that part of your build.
Oh, that one. Oh, I love that one too. It's also one of my favorite chariots.
So
Yeah,
I was really blown away by Ganpat's build here. I think this is really lovely. And this is definitely one of the things that I would be most excited about if I got this set.
the whole project is based on especially the first and I believe the third and 16th comic of Asterix, the goal. And in the first one, Julius Caesar plays an important part at the beginning and in the end. So I had to include him, but I thought he should have something that you can build.
Yeah.
And what would be better than a chariot?
I think it's terrific.
And this is a chariot based on another comic, The Race Through Italy, I think.
I remember that one.
I loved the gold, so I used a lot of golden bricks on the wings and so on. So yeah,
that's awesome.
It's quite menacing and it makes him a kind of villain, but on the other hand, he looks very gracious.
He certainly does. So I hear you have a new project. What is it?
I have another project. It's not really that new, but it is not that very known.
Wow, that looks awesome.
This is the project of Prince. I actually can't say Prince right now because in that period, Prince called himself the sign, the symbol, what you can see on the left. It had to do with his label and producers, etc., etc. It was a kind of dispute about things. So he used that one.
So I remember
being referred
to the artist formerly known as Prince at that
time. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And this is, as I just told you, based on the Gold experience, that his new album in those days, in the 90s, is one of my favorites. And I created it when I already had made Asterix. I did not have the 10K yet. It was at 3,000 supporters with Asterix the Goal, and then I made this one. And it is definitely a display set. It's not something that you can really play with, but this idea of a stage with one of the most famous artists that ever lived in our time, that couldn't miss out on Lego ideas. So there he is.
That's awesome. Could you talk us through the minifigures on the stage?
Yes, and that's very cool because if we go from left to right, we start with the guy behind the keys and the golden mic. This is Morris Hayes, and this guy saw this project and he was like, wow, we want to have the new power generation in Lego. We want that. So he shared it on his Instagram. He left also a comment on the project page. And it was like, I'm the man behind that, the keys, and on the American way. You know, it was so cool to read his comment. And we also had contact. And when we talked about this, I asked him, is it like how it was then in Paisley Park? Because it was recorded at Paisley Park, the House of Prince. He said, yeah, pretty much. You did a good job. It really reminds me of that particular day when we recorded this video. And the cool thing is that there were also people who were playing the audience who saw it and supported it, and they were like, wow, we had a big day and now I see this, and it really brings back good memories of that day. So I was like, wow, I actually, this project already succeeded. If it doesn't get the 10K, I don't mind. It's strange to say, but this is already cool because Morris Hayes responded, and not only he, one of Prince's inspirations, Sly and the Family Stone,
Sure.
he also supported it, and he also left a comment, and that was really cool to see. And I was like, oh wow, this project is just, I mean,
That's
it
incredible.
doesn't have 10K, but it's cool. It's just, I'm proud and thankful for what I have here.
That's super duper awesome. It's amazing to hear all of your sort of rock and roll stories around this Lego model. What was it that made you want to build this out of Lego?
I saw the video a few times, and I was like, this could be recreated into Lego. Um, it's not, it could be big, but it doesn't need to be so.
Sure.
Also because of the instruments, I think, and the whole presentation of what happens in that video. I made the sign in the background way bigger,
Sure.
just to make it stand out. There are other music projects and stages, but this one is Paisley Park. There is no Paisley Park on Lego Ideas. So I thought that would be unique. Why not? Just and the gold. I like all the gold. The gold. Yeah.
It's great.
And
Go on. Yes.
and the band, we have Sonny T behind the guitar. We have Maite, his ex-wife, and she is still in business, I believe. Tommy Barbarella, you can see him. I have a better picture of him right here, next to Prince. This is a scene from the clip.
Sure.
And you see those two together rocking on stage, playing their instruments. That's so cool to see. The other thing is that I wanted to, if you just have this, you always have Prince fans that are fan only of a certain era.
Sure.
And there are guys and girls who don't like the gold experience. So what I did, if you turn it around,
sure,
and turn it further around, you see Purple Rain.
wow.
The cover of that movie, that's just what everyone knows about Prince, Purple Rain. Prince believed that gold would have the same success as Purple Rain, but it didn't.
Sure.
Purple Rain will always be #1 for Prince fans. So I couldn't leave that one out.
That's really cool. I particularly love your motorbike build. I think the shaping is really lovely.
Well, I have to say that I never built modern vehicles. I really don't know how to do that. It was not easy. It was not easy, but I think I did well. And I hope, I'm really happy that you like it. I really am.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. I love the little, what do you call it? The pedals for the feet, the kick plate, and
Oh yeah,
the exhausts. I think it fits together in a lovely way.
thank you. Yeah, yeah, it's something I never really do, but I also thought like, okay, people are like, oh, this is nothing. This is just so bad. But when I looked at it myself, I was like, no, well, perhaps people are gonna like it, but it was not an easy job, to be honest. It was not easy.
Actually, coming back to it, I also really like the long handlebars. I think they look really lovely.
Oh, those, yeah. And the good thing is that there were those right pieces to create them.
Sure. That's really cool. That's really cool. I supported Ganpat because I'm his friend, so I'm very biased towards his projects. But I think these projects are genuinely brilliant, and I think they're worth taking a look at on Lego Ideas. There'll be a link in the description. So go there, comment and support and engage with this stuff. It's really wonderful. See you all soon. Goodbye.
Bye.